Good afternoon. It is a very spiritual afternoon. We are talking in the month of December. 2021 is almost over. We are 22 days away for year 22. And last 2 years, I don't even know in my calendar. I keep counting where have they eloped. And what has kept us going is spirituality and meditation. And this is a contribution of Bharat to the world. We have been celebrating International Yoga Day, and the current Prime Minister of India made a call to the United Nations, and the world has embraced it, and so many countries are doing it. So this afternoon, we got a chance to be in a shiver, which is going to be a 3 days shiver, Shivyog. First of all, much needed in today's time where people are struggling, they lost their loved ones, and the role the meditation has been played. My pranam to you, and I would convey my pranam through you to your papa also and mom. I met them a few years ago right here in Bartlett area. Let's hear from you about what is needed in today's time and the role the meditation is playing.
I welcome you all and I thank you for the opportunity to speak. So, the more we go into the external world, sometimes we get disconnected from the internal world. And today's life, the modern living that we are doing, we have such intense technology in our hand that we use most of the time to figure out the external technologies and then to live with them. And all that time spent on external, we forget how to work with inner technologies, how to work with our own stresses, our own angers, our own frustration. And if we ignore ourselves for such a long time, if we ignore the body, we become unhealthy. If we ignore the mind, we have behavioral healthcare issues. If we ignore our purpose, our calling, our soul, then we are going to have a nihilistic tendency and a misalignment of our priorities. And meditation helps us focus on ourselves as much. And I think this is the need of the hour, that if 90% of our time goes on dealing with, fiddling with, understanding external technologies, at least 5 to 10% of the time, if we can focus on ourselves to work with this beautiful, beautiful machine that the universe has given us, then I think we can get so much more out of life.
Let's hear from you, from your experience. What is the new generation, the challenges that they have to overcome? Because in the corporate world, we see so much of competition. Before even I think, I'm literally saying, before even I think that what I need to ask, I keep a phone in my hand and I just start typing one alphabet and I just see that is right in there. Alph means like artificial. We're talking about AI. Since you've been going to the corporate world, seeing it. But when it comes to seeing within me, things are missing. We are not, you just said that it is a need. It is a 911 need. I always say that because we use the 911 world very, very preempt in living US, before even you think you have a help right there. So this is very well needed.
I think if we just look at one word, logos is meaning. And if this is the one word we can meditate upon, then life would be much more beautiful. A lot of people that I work with that are young, there is this lack of meaning. Because we get a cell phone, the next year the whole getting will be meaningless when the new phone will come.
Yeah.
We get an app and the previous certainties become uncertain in such a small fraction of time. And if we look at the expectations the world has right now, everybody wants the next thing, the next big innovation. Whereas 200 years ago, you were on a horse, for thousands of years you were on a horse, nothing changes. But today, if people are not innovating, so to speak, or not killing their old products to make way for new products, they are not seemed as very successful. Because it's like what's next. And until and unless there is an understanding of what meaning can be, people will just be like that sparrow on the tree running from one branch to another. Meaning can only come if we take a deep dive inside and ask ourselves the big questions of who we are, why we are here, and what is the purpose of my life and all the actions that I'm doing. And if that is the case, then whatever steps I will take will be my own motivation rather than the sales and the marketing motivation that's being put upon me, that the definition of success is this, or the definition of growth is this, and the definition of meaning is this. So until and unless you are not updating yourself in external terms, then you're not successful. And today a lot of people are just focusing on that one aspect of life, and they are very successful, so as to speak, on a just a aesthetic view if we give them, because they have everything. They are in the first world countries, they are in top colleges, they are going to work for the top companies, but aesthetically doesn't mean everything. What's happening inside? What's the meaning, what's the grand purpose? And this tendency of stress will come if I have this confusion, whereas I did everything that the society asked me to do, but I'm not happy. So where did I go wrong? Like, I did everything that the community asked, the society asked. Where's the meaning, the purpose in everything that I do? And I think one thing that meditation really helps with is grounding a person, providing stability to a person, and providing this meaning of life. Whereas I may not exactly know from A to B that this is the path, but at least now there is at least a scope of a path, and that will become more clear with time, with my practice, and that will make me more stable. And I really wish if young people can have this tool of meditation and self-reflection, and I think that ways they can really achieve their own dreams rather than wasting their life on what everybody else has told them to dream about.
Life with a purpose, to be honest. Do you see that the balance is kind of, there is a bridge which has been kind of expanding between sciences and spirituality? Because we cannot ignore science in today's time. We have to accept it to an extent, but spirituality has to be playing a role. So is that the role, it's getting wider, or is it because it should be working together, parallel to each other, because science is needed too, because what we saw in this COVID-19 period, like sciences has come and saving so many lives too.
In fact, the bridge between spirituality and science has become smaller. The more time science has, the more science is understanding that there is a science beyond science, because many times, like, if you have a new thinking, then the concept is to kill the old thinking. It happened with socialism in different countries, where when a new thought process came, just kill everything old is bad. It happened with burning of Alexandria, it happened with burning of Nalanda and Takshila. And each time you feel that, oh, you have something new, that means everything in the old was bad, kill it. It's a very bad approach to life. Whereas every time a society has seen that, the new is good, but the old had some good things also, so we must have an integrative approach. And it's very tough to have integrative approach in the beginning, when the sciences were in their infancy. The whole approach was very hard-headed, and that's why even science had its turmoils in the last 200 years, because what was seen as medical science 100 years ago, and today so much growth has been there. We were talking about Florence Nightingale and during the Crimean Wars, why so many people died during surgery, because there was no such thing of sanitation. So sanitation was taught, surgeons did become better, science did evolve, and I feel it is matured now to be at a level where it is understanding that just like there is physical sanitation, there has to be mental sanitation.
Absolutely.
And they are looking for tools, and not to everything the answer is chemical stimulation or chemical lobotomy, because at one point there was this whole think that every ailment inside the human, every predicament can be changed with a chemical cocktail. But now I feel that science and spirituality have never been so much together, whereas they are understanding that not everything can be resolved through a chemical cocktail. There is a need to go inside, there is a need to understand the thoughts, the mind, the pattern, and we need a new tool. So now I think science is embracing spirituality as another science, a new science, whereas in there is an integration between behavioral healthcare and meditation, there is an integration between rehabilitation and meditation, there is a big integration between child welfare and meditation, whereas the West is looking at the ancient modalities of yoga, of Ayurveda, of Sanatan, and saying that yes, maybe they did have the answers, and maybe if we take those and integrate them in a scientific manner, that great changes will happen. And why I say that they've already been integrated, because look at the financial impact of the Eastern modalities on the American culture. They are billion-dollar industries.
Absolutely.
Today, yoga, even without India's help, is a multi-billion-dollar industry in North America. Meditation, any word you pick up from a multi-billion-dollar industry in the West, because they are understanding that there is an intrinsic value, there is a financial value, and there's a lifestyle qualitative value hidden in that Eastern spirituality, which I feel everybody is now ready to bring in their life, because every mother wants a happy house for her child. And trust me, the Shivyog modalities, they have the answers.
On a concluding note, we are sitting right in the Windy City, Chicago, where Swami Vivekananda came, and he talked about the contribution of East to the West and West to the East. Science from West goes to East, and spirituality comes from East to the West. And that started happening. We go to Starbucks, we do see turmeric latte, and we pay extra for that. And when we were in Bharat, India, haldi wala doodh was so very common, In again Sanatan, we talked about fasting, like you should give rest to this temple of your body. And now we're talking about intermittent fasting. So it is accepting, and we do see that, as you talked about financial contribution also, but I just want to ask you one thing. Since you've been going to the corporate world, talking to them, how do you see the change few years, 5 years ago and now?
First of all, ma'am, I would like to talk to all the fellow Indians, and there's a big difference between earning and inheriting. You can inherit something, but doesn't mean you have earned it. In long times, great kings used to pass on their kingdoms as inheritance, but because the young prince had not earned it, he could, just
Dynasty.
Kill the dynasty. So things that we are talking about, may it be haldi wala doodh, or may it be yoga, or may it be anything, these are sciences, and we can't earn science. We can't say that the son of Neil deGrasse Tyson will inherit his father's PhD. It's a science. We can't say that Albert Einstein's son will inherit those research papers and those theories of relativity that the gentleman worked upon. No, every single generation will have to do their own hard work. We are lucky as Indians that our ancestors were very intelligent, but that doesn't mean that we have the right to be intelligent. Have we worked upon it? Have we earned those degrees? As Indians, we can be very lucky and proud that our ancestors did found yoga and did find so many powerful things. But just because Genghis Khan was from Mongolia, now Mongolia should rule over the known world. It doesn't happen like that. Or just because Alexander the Great was from Macedon, then Macedon should lead the EU. It doesn't happen like that. And just because once upon a time India had these most powerful people, and we have to realize that if we come from those people, how do we honor their memory is not just speaking yoga, but doing it. bringing it in our life? How do we honor our ancestors? Not by just inheriting these words, these words like yoga. It's not yoga as how it's thrown around. That word should have more meaning for us. Are you with it? That word should have meaning. It should be our lifestyle. It should be who we become. And then we don't just inherit it, we earn it. When we earn it, then it's ours. Then the whole world will follow us. But if we are just saying that, we inherit it because geographically we are born in a place in which once great people used to walk and live, so we have some connection to it, it's false. And then when everybody else will earn it, then we will feel guilty that, look at America, they are doing turmeric lattes, what have we done? They earned it, they did research on it, they made an industry around it, they sold it, they made sure that a new population could see the benefit in having haldi latte, which it's a whole development that went behind it. And as Indians, we must take
don't
pride.
underestimate our stuff too, because that's also like,
that is our stuff.
Yeah.
We it's not about estimating, underestimating, it's about knowing the real value. So they saw that अगर ये लोग 5000 साल से हल्दी वाला दूध पी रहे हैं तो कुछ तो होगा. 5000 साल में कोई मतलब अगर एक कौन चल भी रहा हो तो कौन भी 5000 साल लंबा कौन थोड़ी ना चलता है. कभी ना कभी तो फिलोसफर्स आते हैं, वैज्ञानिक आते हैं, और अगर इतना चल गया तो देयर इज अ साइंस. सनातन धर्म का मतलब ही ये है जो कब से चला आ रहा है, जो दुनिया को एक दिशा दे रहा है. सो इट इज़ अ साइंस एंड नाउ द होल वर्ल्ड इज रियलाइजिंग इफ इट्स अ साइंस देयर नीड्स टू बी रिसर्च, एंड दैट रिसर्च आफ्टर सम पॉइंट दे मोनेटाइज इट. सो इफ वी डोंट कम टू आवर रूट्स एंड वी डोंट से दैट इट इज़ आवर इनहेरिटेंस, तो जैसे किसान मेहनत करता है और चूहे फसल खा जाते हैं, वैसे ही हमारे पूर्वजों ने बहुत मेहनत की है, और ये सारे के सारे जो इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टीज़ हैं ये कहीं ना कहीं और चली जाएंगी, और हम कहते रह जाएंगे कि जी आई तो हमसे थी. तो क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है, बनाया किसने? पूत कपूत धन क्यों संचय, पूत सपूत धन क्यों संचय. हाँ जी, एग्जैक्टली. सो आई बिलीव दैट now Indians everywhere should come back to their roots and should practice the modalities of the ancestors, and then their pride that the whole world is seeing the value in it. How beautiful if every Indian mother could show her Indian child the value that the whole world is seeing.
Oh my God. Beautiful conclusion. Beautiful. Thank you so very much. I'm so honored. And really, I'm speechless, because the last part, it came out from here, and I wanted to include this, which you just said, that take pride in who you are. Dhanyavad. बहुत बहुत. Thank you so much.
Thank you.